Hello and welcome back to AB in Focus. Today I'm delighted to be joined by JS Anand, the founder of LEVA Hotels and Resorts. JS, thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Pleasure coming here.
So as part of the storied hospitality industry yourself, obviously over the last couple of years there have been significant challenges through COVID-19. Is the hospitality industry back now? Are we back into booming business times?
I don't think so. I think it's going to take a while because there is still resistance in travel from certain parts of the world. And like you see the cases going on in certain parts of the world. But pandemic, have we come to pre-pandemic stage? No, not as yet. Dubai is picking up because right after Expo, we had a good sort of stretch coming in from a tourism standpoint, and they started going after newer markets. So we generally tend to do about a 60-70% occupancy because right after Expo, you got into summer. So summer is a tough time for Dubai hotels anyway. But I would say probably more closer to the World Cup, which is going to happen in the next couple of months. We're seeing a very positive trend there.
And when we get through the World Cup, do you see that pre-pandemic levels? Is that where we will end up, say, in 2023 and moving forwards?
You know, you have to realize that Dubai has about 140,000 rooms that have come in, and more have been added at Expo. So the competition is fierce right now. So I think you may see the occupancy levels, pre-pandemic levels, you might see that. And there are so many factors now that the government is working on, like the visas are opening up. You can get a golden visa, you can get a 5-year tourist visa, you can remotely work out of Dubai. They're really pushing from an economic standpoint. So I see the push happening very strongly. But at the end of the day, us as hoteliers, I have seen about another 60,000 rooms that came in for Expo. So you're not going to have the same average rates which were there pre-pandemic, or in fact, before the first recession. Like, for example, we used to get about $100, $120 average rate on Sheikh Zayed Road. You don't get that now. You get about 70 or 75. Because the supply has increased, the competition is intense to survive.
That's interesting. So from an industry perspective, you're facing fiercer competition and things are tougher against your competitors.
You bet.
From the customer side, though, how have the customers changed? How have customers adapted throughout COVID-19? And what have their preferences looked like in comparison to where they used to be?
Customers have multiple choices. I mean, at one given point of time, you didn't have many lifestyle brands. You didn't have the choices of having a brand like Rove. Rove has come up with a great concept. It's a 3-star. It's a really well-done product. I think we've got multiple price points now. Palm Jumeirah tends to be expensive. Areas like Business Bay, Sheikh Zayed Road, Al Barsha are all pretty much in the 200 and the 300 dirham category. Hotels closer to the World Trade Center do well when there is an event. I think customers have multiple choices now, multiple brands. They are a little more savvy as far as, sanitation levels are concerned or following the COVID protocol and stuff. So a lot of our brands have gone into, keyless, like no key cards and QR codes for menus. And in certain cases, they just have everything on a IPTV. So we are following that trend anyway, and we're being a little more cautious. Dubai hasn't moved away from removing the mask too, so we still have the mask going, but other countries have really moved forward from that. I see Dubai as still a fancy destination which travelers still want to come once or twice. I wouldn't say it's more business. I would say it's more leisure. So I think with the choices, a number of hotels that have come up, every single brand that's popped up in the last probably about 48 months they have tremendous choices from right up from a $50 level, right up to $500 going to Palm Jumeirah. So they have all the choices.
So let's build this story here. We have high competition from an industry side, more competition than ever before. And we also have customers who have more choices and are going in different directions more than ever before. So how do you, as a business, then build a brand that can cater in that kind of environment where there's lots of choices and lots of competition?
I'm asking that question to myself every single day. It's a tall order. It's a tall order. I mean, you're competing with the likes of Marriott, Hilton, Rotana, which is a great example because Rotana came into the market about 10 or 15 years back. You know, I think I think people make the difference in an organization. The training, the processes. I'm a hardcore hotelier myself. I'm not a business guy. I come from backgrounds of 3 brands which I've sort of learned from. One is Marriott, Hilton, and IHG. And the team that I formed 4 years back when I built the brand in 2018 is all from different, multiple international brands. So they all come with the same exposure that I was looking for. To stand out, there are the uniqueness, as in people say, is that, oh, let's look at technology. Let's look at the product. I think we're complicating hospitality to a large extent. I think what matters is true hospitality, going up, going the extra mile, going beyond what a customer needs. Because today you have to understand that we are a homegrown brand which is competing with the likes of Rotana and 4 Point Sheraton on Sheikh Zayed Road. But our occupancy is 20 points ahead of them. Why? Because we have the ingredients to create a service culture. I don't thrive too much on technology because technology is needed in certain areas. For example, people want to use their smartphones everywhere. We don't limit the number of devices. People want IPTVs. They really don't need IPTVs. What they need is they want to mirror their phones onto the TV. So they want to use Google Play. They want to use Apple TV. So those are the kind of technology aspects we look into. And then reg cards. There are no paper reg cards anymore. You sign on an iPad and you check in. My team is very well versed with understanding that the people touch is crucial. You cannot take away the human capital away from servicing a guest, because at the end of the day, when you pick up a phone in a hotel and call and say, I need a towel, it needs to be with you in 90 seconds or 2 minutes. So there is a people aspect that makes a difference. I mean, I've just used the simple philosophies of hospitality. I mean, it's a clean product, well-maintained, trained staff, trying something outside the box in terms of making it more artsy and design, trying something new on the F&B side by coming up with vegan and gluten-free menus. We're just making hospitality a lot more simpler and a lot more personalized. And most important is that we have a very, very strong marketing culture. We deliver what we promise, and we give you the right channels to the distribution channels to come and book with us. And really, that's what's we're very small. We just started like 4 years back, and we're reaching about probably 5 hotels this year. And it's taking us longer because we're just homegrown and we don't have the bandwidth of a Marriott or Hilton. But you know what? We're succeeding. We're making it happen.
Thank you. There was a very complete answer there. There's one thing in particular I want to pull out. When we're talking about building a brand, I feel like you spent a lot of time there talking around your staff and the abilities of your staff and how they help in terms of creating the brand and the future of LEVA Hotels as a brand. How important is it to you to find the right talent, and how do you retain staff and the best people working for you?
I did a lot of courses in the US and Canada. I lived in Canada most of my life. I think we need to clearly understand that attitude makes all the difference as far as talent is concerned. And if you're looking for a job, don't join LEVA. LEVA doesn't give you a job. LEVA gives you a career. LEVA gives you growth. LEVA identifies your talent, what you bring to the table, and take it to the next level. We don't just take you try to poach you from the competition by giving you 500 dirhams or 600 dirhams more or perks or whatever. I want people, let's say I have a 184 room hotel. My staff is only 58. But the 58 people that bring the hotel to TripAdvisor #1 are the ones who are trained, and we hone their talent, we bring it out. And we know that they could have gaps in different areas. So, for example, if I have somebody in revenue management who looks after numbers, we make sure she's trained in revenue management with the proper course that is given by an industry professional, because we as a company don't have a training division. So we get it externally sourced. So talent has to be looked at as a sub-brand of a major brand. It cannot be looked at just an individual doing a job. So we focus on 18-month or a 24-month strategy. We do a 30, 60, 90 sort of appraisal and figure out what are the development areas that are required. And for us, every detail matters since the guest enters the lobby till they check out. So talent, honestly, you're going to have youngsters today who are going to walk away and say, I want to join a Hilton. I want to join a Marriott. Excellent. They're great brands to learn from. I was with Marriott for 11 years. But we are a smaller company. You get a lot more opportunity. You get a lot more exposure. You get a lot more opportunity to open a hotel, to create a service, create a brand, create a culture. That's the kind of empowerment I've given my team. And we're not micromanagers. You want to get it done? Entirely your choice. We have a simple philosophy. Get the job done and have fun. Have fun with your job.
So to pull another thing out that you said there as well, TripAdvisor #1, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
Secondly, how do you get a hotel to TripAdvisor #1, especially as we're talking about a market full of stiff competition? What does that process look like? How do you hit that milestone?
As I mentioned, with the right people, you've got to identify customer needs. You've got to cater to the customer need. There's very simple philosophy that you need to be focused on the problem resolution and the guest recovery. That's key. You cannot shove a particular situation or a problem under the rug. You've got to break the ice with your guests the minute they check in. I think it's a lot of aspects of making hospitality for me is a lot more simpler than, and customers read reviews today. They'll talk about your breakfast. They'll talk about the guy who cleaned your room. They'll ask for additional shampoos. They will ask for additional water. They want to know if your towels, at times we have situations where we don't have hot water. Something's gone wrong. But we are really, we follow a process right from the time the guest checks in to the time they are serviced at breakfast, to the time they check out, to the time they need transportation. It's a tough call to answer because, see, if you look at the 894 hotels in Dubai, you're talking Waldorf, you're talking Nikki Beach, you're talking Kempinski. I think we just practice true hospitality to the core with the elements of giving them a clean product, and service which is very strongly attentive. With technology, if you see our product, none of our artwork is done by taking a print. It's all handmade artwork. We have bread making machines in our breakfast, like sourdough bread ovens and stuff. So we try to do uniquely, and we are more of a conversion brand. We take hotels the way they are, we convert it. We don't put in huge amount of capital for the owner. We just convert it and position it.
Okay, so final thing from me then. We've talked a lot about your place here in the market in Dubai, but I know that you have something of a storied career around the world and you've worked in a few different markets. How would you view the Dubai and the UAE at large hospitality market in comparison to global peers? Where do you think it stands globally? And what do you see for the future in terms of how Dubai will stand with the rest of the world from a hospitality perspective?
I think Dubai is always going to be dynamic. Recently, Dubai came as one of the TripAdvisor #1 destinations in the world. Dubai will always have the charm in terms of what it offers. You're looking for fancy hotels. You're looking for great locations like Palm and Abu Dhabi and all these, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah. I don't think Dubai is ever gonna die down in terms of tourism. But I see that the saturation is there because of the supply. We are always going to have that challenge. For me, I rather focus on newer markets like Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Ajman, Sharjah, or like we are expanding now, we're going to Africa. Africa has a lot of opportunity for us. We're looking at a couple of hotels there. Egypt is brilliant. Some fantastic locations for diving and, seafront locations. My focus is not necessarily the UAE. My focus is the entire Middle East. I'm looking at Saudi Arabia. I'm looking at Doha, Kuwait. I'm even open to Syria and Iraq. Tough destinations, but great opportunity because they've gone through a war. Now's the time they are sort of coming out of it and building. So it's a good time to get in.
Excellent. Well, JS, the only thing that remains then is for me to thank you for your time today and thank you for sharing your insights with us.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.